Hey everybody, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be talking about AI in education, and more specifically, how it's being used to create learning materials. We've got some really interesting sources on this. One of them is a case study from UCLA, and I don't know about you, but the idea of AI crafting textbooks that are custom tailored to each student, that's pretty wild. But as you might imagine, this potential, it comes with some serious questions. I mean, some professors are worried about plagiarism. And, they're starting to wonder if AI might hinder critical thinking skills. So
Yeah.
luckily, we got an expert here with us today to help us unpack all of this.
Yeah, it is fascinating to see AI push the boundaries of what's possible in education. This UCLA case is a prime example. It uses a tool called Kudu. And what's really interesting about this, it's not just digitizing existing materials. Kudu actually synthesizes different types of content, PowerPoints, YouTube videos, even handwritten notes. And it turns them into these customized digital textbooks.
Okay, so we're talking UCLA. Big university, not some small experiment.
Yeah.
So tell me a little more about how this Kudu thing works in practice.
Sure. So imagine you're a student, you're at UCLA, taking a course on medieval literature, which just so happens to be what the professor using Kudu specializes in. Professor Zrinka Stohujak. Kudu takes all relevant course materials and creates a digital textbook specifically for that course. And get this, it can even tailor the content to different learning styles.
Okay, wait. So you're telling me it's like having a textbook that's made just for you. I mean, that's a game changer, especially for subjects that can be a little tough to grasp from a traditional textbook.
Exactly. And students can access it all, either digital or audio, for a fee of $25.
$25, and that seems small, but
Okay.
could that be a barrier for some students? What do you think about the financial aspect of a system like this?
Yeah, it's a valid concern. Technology can open doors, incredible learning opportunities.
Yeah.
But we do need to be mindful of those potential roadblocks to access.
Now, I know plagiarism is a big concern for a lot of professors. In fact, one of the articles we have here says that 80% of teachers are concerned about students just copying content generated by AI.
Yeah, that's a big concern. It makes sense. I mean, when you have a tool that can produce such polished and sophisticated content, it's natural to worry about misuse.
Right, and it's not just plagiarism. There's a broader question here about how AI might impact critical thinking skills. I mean, if students become overly reliant on AI to do the thinking for them, will they still be able to analyze information and form their own conclusions?
That's a crucial question. It's one thing to have access to information, but it's another thing entirely to know how to critically evaluate that information and apply it in meaningful ways. It seems like a lot of educators are thinking about how to best use these AI tools, not as replacements for teachers, but as ways to enhance the learning experience and really equip students with the critical thinking skills they need to thrive.
So I'm really curious to dive into how Professor Staheljak is actually using Kudu in her classroom. The article mentioned that it's changing her entire teaching approach. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So what's fascinating is that Professor Staheljak, she's now spending less time on lecturing and more time engaging in deep discussions and analysis. With her students, she's basically letting Kudu handle the foundational stuff, which frees her up to focus on those higher-level thinking skills that AI just can't replicate.
And she was even quoted saying she now has more time to the teaching of basic analytical skills, critical thinking, and reading in a coherent way, the things that professors know how to do best. That's a powerful statement. I mean, it really suggests that AI could significantly shift the role of the educator.
Yeah, it certainly raises some interesting questions. Will professors become more like facilitators, guiding students through these AI-powered learning experiences? And if so, what does that mean for the future of teaching and the skills educators will need to be successful?
It makes you wonder if the traditional classroom model is on the verge of a major transformation. Seems like we're on the cusp of something really big here, with a lot of potential benefits and a lot of challenges to consider. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the potential downsides of AI in education. One of the articles brought up the risk of standardization. What if AI-generated courses end up creating a one-size-fits-all approach to learning?
That's a really important point. One of the things that makes learning so enriching is the diversity of perspectives and teaching styles. It would be a shame if AI led to a homogenization of education, where everyone is getting the same information, presented in the same way.
Exactly. I mean, think about your own experiences in school. The teachers who really made an impact were often the ones who brought their own unique personalities and approaches to the classroom. So how do we make sure the AI enhances rather than diminishes that human element of education?
It's all about striking a balance. We want to leverage the power of AI to personalize learning, to make education more effective. But we also want to preserve the richness and diversity. That comes from human interaction and different teaching styles. It's a delicate dance, and it will require thoughtful consideration as we move forward. Yeah, it's a tightrope walk for sure, but I think it comes down to intentionality. How are we designing and implementing these AI tools? Are we using them to simply automate tasks, or are we using them to create more meaningful and personalized learning experiences?
I like that. It's not about replacing teachers with AI. It's about empowering teachers
Yeah.
to do what they do best, inspire, guide, and mentor students.
Right. Think about it. If AI can handle the tasks that are easily automated, like grading multiple choice quizzes, or providing basic feedback on writing assignments, that frees up teachers to devote more time and energy to the things that require human nuance and interaction, like fostering critical thinking, sparking creativity, building relationships with students.
And those are the things that really make learning come alive. I don't know about you, but the classes I remember most fondly weren't the ones where I just passively absorbed information. It was the ones where I was actively engaged in discussions, debates, and projects. That challenged me to think differently.
Absolutely. That's where the real magic of education lies, in those moments of discovery, connection, and intellectual growth.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential for AI to enhance the role of teachers and create more engaging learning experiences. But what about the students themselves? How might AI change the way they learn and approach education?
Well, one of the most exciting possibilities is the potential for truly personalized learning pathways. Imagine a world where every student has access to a customized learning plan that's tailored to their individual needs, strengths, and interests. AI could help students identify their preferred learning styles, pinpoint areas where they need extra support, and recommend resources that are most likely to resonate with them.
That sounds amazing. But wouldn't it require students to be more proactive about their own learning? It's almost like AI would become a learning partner, guiding them, but also expecting them to take ownership of their educational journey.
Exactly. It's a shift from a passive model of education, where students are simply recipients of information, to an active model, where students are empowered to direct their own learning. And AI can be a powerful tool in that process.
It's making me think about how we traditionally measure learning. If everyone is on a personalized track, how do we assess progress and achievement? So the whole concept of grades and standardized tests even makes sense in that context.
That's a big question, and one that educators are already grappling with. As AI becomes more integrated into education, we may need to rethink our traditional methods of assessment. Instead of focusing solely on standardized tests, we might see a shift toward more portfolio-based assessments that showcase a student's individual growth and mastery of skills.
It's almost like AI could help us move away from a one-size-fits-all approach to education and create a system that truly values and celebrates individual differences.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that everyone learns differently and that there's no single right way to achieve success in education.
This is also fascinating, but I'd be remiss if we didn't address the elephant in the room, the potential downsides of AI in education. One of the articles we have here mentioned the risk of over-reliance on technology. What if students get used to AI doing the heavy lifting for them? Will they still be motivated to put in the effort, to learn deeply and think critically?
It's a valid concern. We don't want students to become passive consumers of information, simply relying on AI to provide them with answers. The goal is to use AI as a tool to enhance learning, not to replace the hard work, and critical thinking that are essential for deep understanding.
So how do we strike that balance? How do we ensure that AI is used in a way that encourages active learning, not just passive consumption?
It comes down to thoughtful design and implementation. Instead of using AI to simply deliver content, we can use it to create interactive learning experiences that challenge students to think critically and creatively.
Okay, so give me an example. What does an interactive learning experience powered by AI look like?
Well, imagine a history class where students are learning about a particular battle. Instead of just reading about it in a textbook or listening to a lecture, they could use an AI-powered simulation to experience the battle firsthand, making decisions based on incomplete information, just like the real historical figures had to do.
Wow, that would definitely make history come alive.
No.
It's a completely different way of engaging with the material.
Exactly. And it's the kind of learning experience that AI can help facilitate. By taking care of the more mundane aspects of teaching, AI can free up educators to create these kinds of immersive and engaging learning environments.
So it sounds like the key is to use AI in a way that complements human teaching not replaces it.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where AI can enhance what teachers do best, allowing them to focus on the aspects of education that require human interaction, creativity, and empathy.
This whole conversation is making me think about the future of work. We hear so much about how AI is automating jobs. If AI is also changing how we learn, how do we make sure we're preparing students for the jobs of the future?
That's a crucial question, and it highlights the importance of focusing on skills that AI can't easily replicate. Things like critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, communication, collaboration, and emotional intelligence. These are the skills that will be in high demand in a world where AI is increasingly prevalent.
So it's not just about learning specific technical skills anymore. It's about developing those uniquely human qualities that will set us apart in a workforce where AI is handling many of the routine tasks.
Exactly. It's about fostering adaptability, resilience, and a lifelong love of learning. Because in a world that's changing as rapidly as ours is, the ability to learn and evolve is perhaps the most valuable skill of all.
So we've talked about the potential benefits and challenges of AI in education.
Yeah.
But what does all this mean for the average listener? How might AI impact your own life, your own career, your own learning journey?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll explore in the final part of our deep dive. You know, it's easy to think about AI in education and picture classrooms full of robots, but the reality is, it's a lot more nuanced than that.
Right. This isn't about replacing teachers or turning students into some kind of automatons. It's about using AI as a tool to empower both teachers and students to reach their full potential.
Exactly. AI can be this incredible tool for personal and professional growth. Well, what if you had access to a personalized AI tutor available 24/7 to answer your questions, provide feedback on your work, even help you identify new areas to explore based on your interests?
Okay, that would be amazing. It's like having a personal learning coach
Yeah.
right in your pocket. But wouldn't that require kind of a shift in mindset? I mean, we're so used to thinking about education as something that happens in a formal setting. But the teacher at the front of the classroom,
It's true. Traditional education models, they often emphasize passive learning. The teacher is the primary source of information, and the students are expected to absorb and regurgitate that information. But AI has the potential to flip that script, empowering students to become active participants in their own learning.
so instead of just memorizing facts and figures, students could use AI to delve deeper into subjects that interest them, explore different perspectives, and develop their own unique understanding of the world.
Precisely. And that's where the real value of AI in education lies, in its ability to personalize the learning experience and create pathways for students to become lifelong learners.
Yeah, this is making me rethink everything I thought I knew about education.
Yeah.
It's not just about acquiring knowledge anymore. It's about cultivating skills, like critical thinking, problem solving, and adaptability. Those are the skills that are going to be essential in a world that's constantly evolving.
Absolutely. In a world where AI is automating a lot of those routine tasks, the jobs of the future, they're going to require creativity, innovation, the ability to think critically and solve complex problems. Those are skills that can't be easily replicated by machines. They require human ingenuity and insight.
So how do we ensure that our education system is preparing students for this future? What can we do as individuals to make sure we're staying ahead of the curve?
I think the key is to embrace a mindset of continuous learning. The world is changing so rapidly that the skills we learn today might be obsolete tomorrow. We need to be willing to adapt, learn new things, constantly challenge ourselves, and AI can be a valuable tool in this process.
It can help us identify areas where we need to grow, connect us with resources and learning opportunities, and provide personalized feedback to help us stay on track. It really is like having a constant companion on our learning journey.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And it's important to remember that learning, it doesn't have to be confined to a traditional classroom setting. AI can open up a world of learning opportunities. Online courses, virtual workshops, interactive simulations, personalized learning apps.
This is all incredibly exciting, but it also raises some concerns. What about the potential for bias in AI systems? If these systems are trained on data that reflects existing societal biases, could they end up perpetuating those biases in education?
That's a critical question. It's one that researchers and developers are actively working to address. It's essential that AI systems used in education are designed and implemented in a way that is fair, equitable, and inclusive.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but also about the human values that we embed in that technology.
Exactly. AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us as a society to ensure that AI is used in a way that benefits all learners and creates a more just and equitable world.
Well, this has been a truly mind-expanding conversation. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of what AI can do in education.
Yeah, we certainly have a lot more to explore, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the potential, the challenges, and the ethical considerations surrounding AI in education.
It definitely has for me. I'm walking away from this conversation with a renewed sense of excitement about the future of learning. It's clear that AI is going to play a major role in shaping that future, and it's up to all of us to be informed, engaged, and proactive in shaping how that unfolds.
I couldn't have said it better myself. The future of education is in our hands. Let's make it a bright one.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into AI and education. We hope it sparks some curiosity, some critical thinking, and maybe even some inspiration. Until next time, keep those minds engaged and keep learning.